Continuing here, this is the big news, really, of the day. This is the big news. It's hiding in plain view, and it's just really hard for me to sit here and watch it go on. But this is part of that Overton window, where they do things so radical that it just trains us all. They take us a million miles down the road of tyranny, and even though we know it's tyranny, we just basically get our backs broken and accept it. And as Barry Goldwater said, extremism in defense of liberty is no vice. We're dealing with extreme government criminals in both major parties. We're dealing with extreme decadence and lethargy and sloth-like behavior from the average American, myself included. We've got to get supercharged. We've got to get awakened. We've got to get angry, and we've got to get focused. And I know Paul Watson's listening right now. We're working on an article together. He's working on some big breaking news with the dead Tweety birds as well, and what that ties into. But this is a big story. And when I saw this last night, I did some research. I did some more this morning. I'm looking at federal and state law. But there's no doubt that this is illegal, and there's a big paper trail on this. And if we can just get the media to pick up on it, but mainline conservative media doesn't want to do this because they do some of these same influence peddling that the Chicago crime machine and the mayor's father is literally one of the most famous mobsters in history, right up there with Bugsy Siegel and Al Capone. And, of course, the Chicago police, no one denies, that's a mafia machine if there ever was one. I mean, you don't serve the cop his 10th drink. He just beats you up. I mean, it's like, well, you're drunk. We can't let you, give me the drink. Shaking people down. I've been in Chicago just trying to videotape on the streets and had cops march over and just go, turn your cameras off. But you could tell they were real crooks. These weren't, normal cops just trying to act like thugs. And they just got their billy clubs and said, turn them off. And I could tell right then it was turn them off or we're going to give you multiple concussions, maybe even kill you. And I just said, okay, bzz. Just because I understand that's an area already destroyed, already taken over by gun-grabbing mafias. Notice mafias always want your guns. I mean, when criminals march into a bank and say, stick them up, the first person they do, first person they pistol whip, first thing they do is pistol whip the guard and take their gun and tie them up. I mean, that's what gun control is. It's tying up the slave. You think they let slaves in Rome have swords? Think they let black people 200 years ago have guns? First gun laws in this country were against blacks. All right, continue. When we come back, Obama is said to be considering naming J.P. Morgan's Daily to top White House post. And this just ties into all of this garbage. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
From his Central Texas Command Center, deep behind enemy lines, the information war continues. It's Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
We've had a corrupt government for a long time, but it's rotten through and through. And nowhere is this illustrated better than the Daley family. You had the Big Daddy, one of the most famous mob bosses out there, and one of his many children has been the Chicago mayor for a long time. But William Daley, one of the brothers, is a top J.P. Morgan Chase & Co. executive, former U.S. Commerce Secretary. He replaced Ron Brown, who was said publicly, if I go down, Clinton's going to go down. And then the aircraft over Serbia, the special ops on board, the intel we've got is, and this even came out in the news, part of it, put on their oxygen masks, shot everybody on board the plane, blew the side hatch, and heload or high load out. There's two different types where they put on the oxygen mask and jump out at high altitude. And we know that because it got leaked out of the Army and out of the different medical centers where the autopsies were done, that they all had bullet holes in their heads. And they even had the caliber, and then the media tried to whitewash that. So the head coroner, a colonel, went public. You remember all that. So Ron Brown got taught real good. And then one of the mob boss children, one of the bad sons, one of the droppings of the old mob boss daddy, became the head of the Commerce Department with the missile secrets to China. And he helped ram through NAFTA and GATT, top globalist. And his brother helped get behind, of course, Obama and another little pea that was in the same pod, Blagojevich. They got him in as governor. You know, they get their people in everywhere, and that's how they control society. And then as soon as they get in, they say, oh, there's thousands of Chevy dealerships. If you haven't been contributors to the Democratic Party and haven't paid protection money, or if you don't give money right now, we're going to take your dealership worth millions of dollars and give it to somebody else. And they did. And now if you're not an insider and don't give money, well, you don't get the waiver to not have to buy insurance for your employees. So your hamburger shop or your auto body shop or your factory, you don't have to get health care for your people, but all your competitors, they do. So you get to undercut them. And that's really what NAFTA and GATT is on a global scale. They can have all these tariffs on us overseas, but we can't have any on them. And then there's no environmental standards, no carbon taxes. There's many different forms of tariffs that we put on ourselves, not on foreign goods. And that's all part of globalism. Then the insiders get to write the law where they're exempt. And you wonder why their main retailer, now more than 40% of global retail sales, Death Mart, with the telescreens going in it. And by the way, I saw the first video of them actually going in. TV screens right there above the magazines at the checkout counter with Big Sis with a AP news feed under it. So it looks like a TV show. That's the only thing that's been altered. It's Big Sis saying, watch everybody, spy on other patrons. I mean, super creepy. We're going to play that later. Watson, and I think Steve Watson's doing a report on that, so they're now actually being phased in. 9,000 locations, not just 844 Walmarts. I mean, this is getting crazy. But looking into the law, it is clearly influence peddling, and that's what this whole operation is. And, of course, all of this other thieving is just icing on the cake. The big one is the trillions being given to the foreign offshore banks and Congress being buffaloed. I guess a Jedi mind trick's the best term, where the Federal Reserve Chairman and the Treasury Chairman and others just get up there and say, we're not going to tell you where the money went. In hearing after hearing in the House and Senate Banking Committee, it's happened hundreds of times now. 2 years ago, it was big news when they do it. A year ago, it was still big news. Now we've again been conditioned that just, well, some crooks in suits all mobbed up. They just tell us they won't, you know, get into where the money went. And in case you think it's a partisan issue, it's not. Remember the $2 trillion missing the day before the World Trade Centers got blown up? Associated Press, headline, $2 trillion missing from Pentagon. By the time they had congressional hearings in 2005, it was $4+ trillion, and the word is now it's over $7 trillion. And some people then send me emails. They don't look up the news article to find out I'm telling them the truth, or the congressional hearings that are on YouTube. You can just type in trillions missing from Pentagon into YouTube, Google. You'll get articles, video clips, hearings about it. People just say it's not true. They say, oh, the whole defense budget's only $1 trillion a year. How could they be stealing trillions a year? They stole the Pentagon pension fund investments. And that came out 10 years ago, even ahead of 9/11. And it's now come out last year in Bloomberg and AP and Reuters. Just, oh, Prudential and other insurance carriers 11 years ago in 99 made deals to take veterans' death benefits when they die. The money's all gone. Your Social Security's gone, the death benefits, the health care. You're going to get euthanasia death panels in its place. But not before they trick you and say, get behind raising taxes and you'll still get your handouts. You're not going to get the money you put in. You got it? You're not going to get any of it. You're going to get a boot stomping on your face. We don't throw this mafia out.
We are on the march. The empire is on the run. Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
Yes, the empire is on the run, but it's in its dangerous, frothing death throes, flailing around right now. And the question is, can we salvage any of the republic during this process, or are the criminals fully aware of what they've done in stealing everything, even nailed down, going to be able to put a high-tech police state in place to further suck us dry? So getting back to the open mafia system in front of us, you know, almost every other nation on earth has a tiny, rich elite and a giant underclass. You look at Mexico, you look at Argentina, you look at Brazil, you look at Eastern Europe, you look at many areas of Asia, Africa. And Americans always laugh. Oh, look at the foreigners. They're so corrupt. You know, they've got cops with machine guns on the streets in Brazil or Mexico or Nigeria or Eastern Europe. Oh, look at them. Their government devalues their currency. You know, those folks in Mexico, they just can't figure it out. Well, the United States isn't perfect, but the mainstream media spends a lot of time demonizing what was America, what did work with America, because they don't want you to know the antidote to their poison. They want to try to discredit things that are common sense and we know work. How did 5% of the world population get roughly half the world's wealth? How do we do that? We had more liberty, more freedom than other countries. That's why. Geographically, not a very big country compared to many. Doesn't have the resources of even a Mexico or a Nigeria. Did you know Nigeria overall has more resources in major Encyclopedia Britannica breakdowns than the United States? You know Mexico has triple, roughly, whether it's gold, oil, timber, fertile fields, volcanic soil. A to Z, Mexico's got roughly triple the resources. Natural gas, fisheries, they got everything. You go down there and you get outside the tourist traps, looks like a bomb hit that place. Sewage running down the street, little kids running around, police bugging their eyes out at you, the public scared of the police. That's called a martial law banana boat republic. We know what it looks like. Now, America is becoming the strip mall version of that. See, the globalists, it's not just that they don't care and will steal everything and destroy a society. They want to. They want to destroy the old republic. They want to claim that our empire fell when really it's just going to fall into the hands of the IMF and World Bank. So they've got all these historians now predicting the fall of the American empire, the end of the empire. Quite frankly, if this empire was run properly, it'd probably never fall because of the high-tech grids that are in place. They want it to fall. It's designed to fall. Fall right on top of those other sovereign nations. Fall right on top of what's left of our country. Fall right on top of what's left of this country's reputation. So the issue here is people shouldn't make fun of third world countries. They never had our founders. They never had a Bill of Rights. They never had a constitution. Almost every time other nations have had revolutions, even if it was a good military leader who overthrew the dictator, that guy would get knocked off. You know, the person who tried to bring in a republic, who tried to bring in a parliament or a legislature, a Congress, people would gather around within the Congress and decide to overthrow the whole country for themselves so they could steal all the goods. But we actually had founders who were different. They weren't perfect, but they were supermen compared to what every other country's had. Supermen. They make the Greek system at its height look barbaric and police state. It makes all other supposed free societies look like a joke. And it's all slipping away. It's all burning away. It's all going the way of the Goonie bird. The dodo bird, the coelacanth. And I don't like that. I don't want to be a slave. I know what New World Order globalism means. It means I'm a high-tech slave in a global system run by people who are stated open eugenicists and who on record say they want to forcibly reduce our population.